Alright, I'm waiting on my mother to show up. Getting ready to do the brakes on her van. And let me get this out of the way now. This video is not sponsored by anybody in particular, but I will be saying very nice things about Detroit Axle. But they are not sponsoring this video. So, one of the things I like about them, and actually the funny thing is I actually bought this kit while in YouTube user Madam Roy's spare bedroom the day that we did the live stream together. So, this was bought with my own money, but you can go to their website, and let me change the angle of view here real quick. And I really wish I had my monitor that I have in the trailer so I can actually see what I'm doing. So you go on their website and you select a vehicle. In this case, it's a 2006, let me, just in case, somehow, some way, 2006 Dodge Grand Caravan. Because this is actually kind of important here. It comes as a kit. You type that in, you say, I want brakes for it. So they offer you these brake and rotor packages. Let me get this all out of the box and then I'll come right back. Alright, so here's what comes in the kit. Got 2 sets of rotors, 2 sets of pads. I think these ones are the rear. Yeah, these ones are definitely the front. A can of brake parts cleaner, which I've already used some of because I didn't have any of my other ones. Also not sponsored by AutoZone, just happens to be it. And it comes with brake fluid. I don't really see the need for the brake fluid. I would rather them give me some of this. But hey, it's in the package. They didn't even have to give me that. So I believe these are the front rotors and these are the rear. Now, yeah, these are definitely the rear. The kit I got, excuse me, came with the drilled and slotted rotors. I believe that on this particular vehicle it is completely unnecessary. But it was literally like $10 more. So that's what I went with. So these are, in fact, the rear rotors. They were stacked like that. It's funny because the smaller box is actually the heavier of the two. And then, let's look at these rear pads. This has been sitting in my living room since August. That's hilarious. Rear pads, they look like pretty decent pads. No complaints. Comes with the rubber hardware for the caliper brackets. Comes with a little bit of lube. Comes with, it says 4 grams. I'm probably going to use my own caliper grease. Let me turn you guys. God, I really cannot see the screen. The sun is right behind me. Alright. The front pads, they too look pretty alright. Nothing special. They come with this hardware here, which is a very good thing. Let's make sure the rotors look okay because the box did get beat up in shipping. The rotors look nice. They're really nice and heavy. Sorry, I just elbowed the thing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Because the brake fluid is just .3. Brake parts cleaner, just brake parts cleaner. And then while I'm still waiting on her, I will talk you through some other stuff here. Alright, let's talk about the tools you'll need. You'll need a jack to get the vehicle up. Jack stand to put under it. Please do not ever work underneath of an unsupported vehicle. I cannot stress that enough. I have personally lost a friend who died underneath of a car because he didn't use a jack stand and the jack gave out on him. You'll need to get a way to get the lug nuts off. In this particular case, I'm going to be using an impact wrench, but a 4-way lug will work. But in that case, you got to break the lug nuts loose before you jack it up. Especially here in New Jersey, I like to use a wire brush to clean up the caliper brackets. If that doesn't work with the hand brush, I'll take them to the vise and clean them up with my drill and a wire brush. A caliper spreader. I hope this is in frame. This one is actually designed to do 4-piston calipers, but it'll work on any kind. Here in New Jersey, sometimes to get a rotor off the vehicle, you need a BFH. I'm holding a hammer. You can, I'll let your mind go with what B and F means. And then a basic hand tool kit. I don't know particularly which tools we're going to need yet. I can't remember off the top of my head, but basic socket set should be enough to do it. If not, I've got other tools in the trailer that I can use, and we'll discuss that when the time comes. So for now, I'm waiting on the vehicle. Alright, so earlier I mentioned I didn't know what the tools were. A 7mm hex key or Allen key. That's what takes off these bolts here. I apologize, they are cutting grass here and I can't really do anything about that. I don't want to wait all day doing these brakes, or spend all day doing these brakes just waiting on them to stop cutting grass. Alright, so first pin's out. Second pin's out, and these are the only 2 that you need to take out if you're doing just brake pads. They're not, you don't have caliper bracket bolts or anything like that. It's just these 2. And this one here has a plastic shield that's kind of close. So those are out. Take a little pry tool. The problem with this vehicle is not that the brakes are worn down. She has a really bad vibration, which is pretty indicative of a bad rotor. So I'm doing, you guys saw the kit, so I'm doing pads and rotors all the way around. I've already done the back passenger side. I was trying to wait on them to be done with these, doing the grass, but the noise was just too much. I just ended up doing that and having a hard time getting this pad out of the caliper. I can pry on it there, hopefully. There we go. That pad comes out, and then we take our caliper compressor tool and we compress the caliper until it stops. And for now, that's all we're going to do. I'm going to set that down on the axle. Passenger side came off easy. That side's not coming off too bad either. So this has parking brakes inside the rotor. It's good to clean them up, take a look at them. Everything looks pretty okay. And then now I'm going to take that wire brush I showed you earlier, and I'm just going to, this doesn't look too bad. I'm just going to give it a quick clean, careful cleaning around the caliper piston, because that has a rubber seal around it that you don't want to rupture. I'll put some grease right here where the pad meets the caliper. I'll put a little bit around here, put some on. I'm not getting a whole lot with every brush, by the way. I'm not just globbing it on. Put some on the caliper face. That'll do a couple things. Oh yeah, I want to wire brush these. This is where the face of the brake pad rides, and there's no hardware here, which I find rather odd. But and the other thing I'm looking at is this does come with these, but the ones that are in there are actually in really good shape, and I don't want to risk, I don't want to mess anything up changing those. So brake pads pretty much just slide right on. I messed up this pad, the little back plate, because these do have a passenger side and driver side rear brake pad, and I put it on the wrong side first. That was on me. So now, actually I'll do this before I put the rotor on, that way I don't hit the rotor with the grease. I'm just going to grease where these pads sit. Ooh, I need to do, and I do need to do a wheel bearing on this side, because we're missing a wheel stud. So I'm going to do my best to not touch the surface of the rotor. Bing, bang. Ow! I just dropped the rotor on my finger. Probably to no surprise of my mother, who's sitting on the other side. I'll just put a little bit of grease where those slide pins go. So there is an easier way to do that than I did it on the other side. Good to know. Actually, do you see the mistake I just made? Oh my God. Somebody get me out of the sun. And I might have to pull this pad back out again. That was silly. I thought something didn't look right. Now, how on earth did I make that mistake? And I want to make sure I'm not twisting the brake hose. But that is potentially an easier way to do that. There we go. Everything's set. I put grease on in the boots, so I'm not going to put any more on the pin. There's no curly Q in that. And then You torque these down to factory spec. Click. That's my built-in torque wrench. Click. And the brakes are done. Now we can move on to the front. Alright, so I already did the passenger side, and now it's time to do the driver's side. On this side there's, well actually on both, there's a metal hardware clip you take off, and then you can go ahead and turn the wheel. This is the same 7mm that it was on the passenger side, and I don't have my ratchet with me. Give me 1 second. Alright, so again, the same 7mm. These are actually coming out pretty easy. Oh, excuse me. This metal brake line, or this brake hose, is in the way, but it's not that big of a deal. Alright, so you probably would need an extension doing this. And really, you could do this with a large Allen key too. It'd be slower, but you can do it that way. And then, momentarily, I'll show you the bigger problem, or not a bigger problem, but I gotta see what size that is. Alright, let's push this out. So the outer pad, when I put it together, can stay on the caliper bracket. Again, ooh, these pads are all kind of heat cracked. So these are a 19mm. I don't have that in my set for the hand tools. Wait, no, 19mm is the other one. This is a 21mm. 19mm was the wheel. Or 19mm was the wheel. It would help if I could speak. When you take this caliper bracket off and you're taking these nuts out, be very careful. And right now, I'm having a bit of trouble because the transmission's in my way. Earlier, when I did the passenger side, I dropped that on my ankle. And it hurt. It hurt bad. So we can take this rotor off and spray all this down. Like I was telling my mother earlier, you don't need a fancy caliper tool like this for this vehicle. You can use a C-clamp and the old brake pad. You can use, they have other ones that just have like, they have like an ear on this end and then a plate on the other end. And just a knob that you turn. For this vehicle, you don't need this fancy tool. I have this tool because it's required for doing the brakes in my truck, but it's not required for this vehicle. You have other options. But then again, this tool is only $9 on Amazon, so Alright, so that's all put together. I can set this caliper aside. You don't want to let it hang by the hose, because I'll set that aside for now. And Again, for a vehicle like this particular style of rotor is 100% not required. This is a drilled and slotted rotor from Detroit Axle, not a sponsor, but the price was really good on these, so that's why I got them. I'm going to take this over to the bed of my truck and hit it with the wire wire brush. I'll be right back. Alright, and now I went ahead and applied the grease to the caliper bracket, and I forgot to turn the camera back on because I was talking to my mother about why I got the microphone set up I have. And when I dropped the caliper bracket on my ankle last time, you know, she did what mothers do. Oh my God, are you okay? You know, can't complain about that. Got a transmission in my way. How to do brakes on a 06 Grand Caravan. Step 1, remove transmission. No, not really. It looks like this caliper piston has seen some damage. And it's not from me dropping it. It looks like in the past somebody has gouged it with something. I don't know what though. And I just realized where I missed doing a little bit. I like to do a little bit up here where they hit. I don't like to do too much because then they you don't want to do too much grease because then it can attract dirt. And apparently I could have waited a second before putting that one in. I don't know. I hope you saw that. Oh man. Oh, there we go. I started to get a little worried because this van, when I got it, I realized afterwards I didn't get it from somebody who would have done a lot of maintenance. They were more of a what can I do to keep it going kind of person, and it almost looked like the caliper piston was too small for the brake pad. I'm like, oh, don't tell me they went to the junkyard and pulled a caliper off of a van without rear disc brakes, because there are two different calipers for this vehicle, one with rear disc brake and one with a rear drum. Obviously, from me doing the rear brakes first, you saw that this one has rear disc. And if you've never done a brake job before, click the I was telling her, don't let me forget to you want to pump before you move the vehicle, you want to pump the brakes about 3 or 4 times. That way all the pistons are out. Otherwise, when you go to hit the brakes, you're not going to get anything. So I think this is all I've got for this video. I need to finish the oil change. I let it drain while I was doing the front brakes. So I got to put oil in it. I have to do another thing in it, and then I got to drive it around here and get the brakes, what they call seated in. So, oh yeah, hold on. Oh yeah, there's one last thing on this side. I almost forgot. there is a clip, and I don't have that little pry bar over here with me, do I? There is this little clip on the front. I don't know what its purpose is, but I will tell you it is a pain in the you-know-what to get put on here. I might be able to do it without... Oh, actually no, you can do that without the pry bar. Alright. So, thanks for watching. Have a blessed day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.